Artificial intelligence is growing at a super fast rate, and every human across the world is going to have to know how artificial intelligence works, how it is going to be innovative, as well as how to keep people safe with AI. But do people know the ethical codes and rules of artificial intelligence? Does it exist? Is there any easy to understand book that shares how you're supposed to use artificial intelligence so people use it in a way where it's safe? Well, there's good news. There is a new book that helps you understand this. I am Olympia LePoint, host of Answers Unleashed and author of the Answers Unleashed book series. I have created the Code of AI Ethics. These are procedures for us to use artificial intelligence in a safe way. My latest book is Answers Unleashed for the AI Literacy Handbook. In it, I describe artificial intelligence in easy to understand English terms and give the AI code of ethics so people use artificial intelligence in a safe way. This particular video is going to help you understand just 10 of the AI codes of ethics so you can be informed on how AI is supposed to be used safely. This particular video also shares at the end how you can get a hold of me to share information about AI codes of ethics at your organization and school, a part of AI literacy training. I hope you enjoy this presentation. I am Olympia LePoint, and stay to the very end so you find out the information that is right for you. This presentation is the AI Code of Ethics by me, Olympia LePoint of AnswersUnleashed.com. Answers Unleashed gives lectures in person, in training, and it is also professional training. This is the AI Code of Ethics, and if you would like more information on this, please contact our office, OL Consulting Corporation, at the number below. I am a former NASA award-winning rocket scientist and author, and you can find me on olympialepoint.com and answersunleashed.com for further details. In my latest book, AI Literacy Handbook, I show you how to promote safe and ethical AI. And in this presentation, we're going to understand the AI codes of ethics. And this new book, it's coming out in 2025, and it identifies AI literacy for large corporations, California schools, trade organizations, schools across the United States, as well as businesses, governmental officials, tech companies for AI ethics frameworks. I am a adjunct professor at Cal State Northridge, CSUN, and I developed the AI literacy and ethics curriculum for both CSUN and UCLA. The latest information is in my book here, Answers Unleashed, the AI Literacy Handbook, how to promote safe and ethical AI. You can find additional information on answersunleashed.com/technology safety. The AI Code of Ethics was first introduced at UCLA through the AI Ethics Guidebook, and there was a certification that was presented to each of the students who came from across the world to find this information. The summer program had people from Turkey, from China, from Spain, from Nigeria, from Portugal, all the different places. They found out the AI Code of Ethics, and so I'm sharing this with you today. Now this information is now available for anyone who picks up a copy of the AI Literacy Handbook. And this is a digital copy that's going to be available on my website, as well as through training programs, as well as schools and organizations and colleges. What is artificial intelligence? Artificial intelligence is the ability of machines to perform tasks that are typically associated with human intelligence, such as learning and problem solving. And I'm going to ask you this question. Do you think AI is always safe, or do you think AI can be dangerous? I want you to seriously ask yourself this question. Do you think AI is always safe? And I want you to ask yourself this question. Or do you think AI can be dangerous? Well, AI has been useful. It's been useful in many different situations. Let's look at the different generations. Each generation has found AI useful. For example, baby boomers, they first used AI with the ATM machine. There had to be a machine to read the numbers on a piece of paper called a check and to give you money at an ATM machine. The Gen X use this within their smartphones to be able to text and dial and send people information and emails from an electronic device that traveled with them. Millennials use this with Siri and Alexa to find out information at the moment's notice. And now Gen Z is looking at robotics and artificial intelligence. And so each one of the generations has used AI and it has helped with innovation. And the artificial intelligence is something in which we help develop. My background is I helped launch 28 NASA spatial missions into space, and we followed a four-step program that is actually the foundation of AI. We created and saw data. We looked at data from engines, and we created automated systems to determine if the data was what we expected within the engine performance. And then we tested the engines and then we took it in flight. The same four steps is actually used in artificial intelligence. And I had no idea that at that moment in time, I was laying the foundation of the artificial intelligence that is used with the probabilistic risk assessments that we're seeing today. In my Answers Unleashed book series that won the Irwin Award, I talk about science and technology and how we have to make decisions with this science and technology for the future. And specifically in my last two books, The Answers Unleashed 2, The Science of Attracting What You Want, I talk about quantum deciding, which is our decisions about the future with technology. And my latest book here, AI Literacy Handbook, identifies how we can use artificial intelligence in safe ways. So the question is, why are people talking about AI now out of all times? It's because the AI can fail. Specifically, it can be dangerous. So you may be asking, when is the AI dangerous? Well, I'm going to share some examples with us. Consider this example, not just once, but twice. In 2018 and 2019, there were two Boeing 730 MAX 8 plane crashes, according to Frontline News reports. According to the Frontline News reports, Boeing's fatal flaw, people are dead, are the people dead due to an MCAS AI software malfunction. That was the name of the article. And the MCAS stands for Maneuvering Characteristic Augmentation System. It failed. And it not only failed once, it failed twice. And the worst case about this particular situation is the pilots did not even know the AI was even in the system to turn it off. The AI malfunctioned and it caused two planes to nosedive into the ground, killing 346 people. This is when the AI malfunctioned and people did not know that they had a right to know when the AI was operating something in which was in the software. In July, specifically July 19th of 2024, we saw $10 billion in losses. According to CNBC News, the CrowdStrike failed and it caused an IT meltdown. Apparently, there were $10 billion in losses from planes and airports being shut down, from surgery rooms being shut down, surgeries ending and stopping. And this was really critical because there were people in life or death situations in the surgery rooms. So this not only affected the travel industry, it affected the hospitals, it also affected gas stations. There was $10 billion of losses across the world because there was a CrowdStrike AI failure called Falcon. It was on the computers, and people, when they tried to boot their systems up, the AI failed. According to Quartz, and the Washington Post, self-driving cars also have deaths. According to Quartz News, 12 of the biggest failures in the driverless car industry happened in 2023. And according to the Washington Post article, What Self-Driving Cars Can't Recognize May Be a Matter of Life and Death, indicates that if the the AI in a self-driving car is trained on the wrong data, it can make decisions that can jeopardize people's lives. And we're going to see some examples of that. So I don't want you to be scared with all this. So you're not a victim if you learn how to impact AI now. And AI will not impact you, rather, you will impact AI. And the way that you impact AI is that you can know the AI code of ethics. You will know the AI code of ethics and turn off the AI when it's operating incorrectly and turn it on when it does. In this particular presentation, we're going to look at how AI works. We're going to understand some basic code of ethics defined by me, where we can see it's being used safely. And then we're going to talk about there's a certification process for the AI code of ethics comprehension. So let's look at how AI works. There's a four-step process to how AI works, and this is created by the Berkeley School of Information that's available for everyone to see. And so the AI has what we call a feedback loop. There's data, lots of data to analyze and to take a look at. Then there is a computer programmer that creates a series of codes called a developer. So this particular person is called a developer that creates an AI algorithm. That then makes decisions on the data, and then you apply it to a test case. So this is the third part here. You test it to see how it's used, and if it works correctly, then you deploy it to the real world and find out information and make decisions about the real world based on your algorithm. And then the real world data then is fed back into the system, and then the algorithm updates itself. And this is what we call a feedback loop. Here's a problem. If any one of these four areas is not accurate, the AI fails. So if the data is not the correct data that goes into the system, or it's not inaccurate or incomplete, the design will not work. If the developer creates an AI system and didn't understand the statistics of the data and creates an AI algorithm with the incorrect statistics, then it's applied wrong. Or if it is applied incorrectly, or the information is not verified in step 3 and it's applied to the real world, it can skew the results and make harmful decisions on real people. So this is how it's necessary to understand all four areas of this feedback loop to ensure AI works correctly. This is what we call AI ethical procedures. AI-powered self-driving planes are an example. The data is used, and the data from people flying, and even video games are analyzed. And then it's created, an algorithm is created from it. So an AI learns from millions of these data points in a simulator, and then it's tested. It's tested to pass safety requirements, and the AI-powered engines pass these requirements, and then it's used in the real world. Militaries are creating self-flying planes. So they are drones, they're self-flying planes, and these are applications where people are are seeing things flying in the air and it's not a human inside of it. So if, again, if any one of these four areas fail, then it fails the AI loop and it gives a failure. So we're going to look at self-driving cars. If there's a failure with using the data, or if it's trained on incorrect data, or it's trained on video game data where the people are not driving in real life the way that people drive in real life, the car will have a failure. If the developer doesn't use the right coding process in creating the right coding language, it can fail. If there's not sufficient testing to ensure that there's not going to be safety concerns, it can fail. It and people sometimes don't drive the way that computers drive. You have to look at the real world too. So if any one of these four areas fail, the self-driving car will fail, and we're going to look at examples of that. Two examples, real life examples, was Cruise. According to CBS News, they had to pay $1.5 million in penalty to a connection to a San Francisco pedestrian that was hit. We're going to talk about that. And then a self-driving car, Waymo, according to Futurism News, was spotted driving down the wrong side of the street. We're going to look at what that looks like in this process here. We're going to look at the AI codes of ethics defined by me, and this is in no particular order. This is 10 different codes of ethics in which are identified in the book that helps you understand how important this is. One of the first AI code of ethics is that all people in every country must be AI literate to preserve humanity. And I put a special note here. You are empowered when you know how AI is supposed to work versus when it fails. So remember that feedback loop. If any one of these four areas fail, the AI fails. So in order to understand what AI looks like, there's three types of AI, and I talk about this in the book. There's what we have: traditional AI, predictive AI, and generative AI. The traditional AI is something that we've been using for decades now. It's for ATM machines, it's for fraud detection. If someone uses your card in another state, then your card shuts down because there's an automatic fraud detection that matches the zip codes of where you're using your card. It's used in email search functions, it's used in online search functions when you're finding your pink sheets on Amazon or any other type of retailer, online retailer. It's also used in anti-fraud banking, is used in fraud detection and cybersecurity. So these are the type of tested traditional AI platforms that use traditional AI. This is not a concern because this is more so able to be vetted and checked and tested. And there's data to verify the accuracy of this particular automation. There's what we call predictive AI. This is not as uh, stable as traditional AI. However, predictive AI is pretty accurate because it can determine accuracy level. This is used for weather reports. If you have a hurricane that's coming close to Florida, you'll know it's going into Tallahassee versus Tampa, for example. Weather forecasts use predictive AI to understand how the airflow is happening in the environment. Online marketing, if you're looking for tennis shoes and one site automatically when you go to social media, another site, it predicts you're going to be looking for tennis shoes again. Or wedding dresses. If you're looking for wedding dresses on one site, you start seeing ads for wedding dresses on another. Traffic routes and driving directions use predictive AI as well as digital communication. A type of AI for predictive AI is also US courts. They use it in prison sentencing, and we're going to look at reports are indicating that this predictive AI is not necessarily coded correctly. And we're going to see that a little later on. The generative AI is what everyone's talking right now, talking about. It exploded on the market in 2023, and really it came from 2020. And so exploded during the pandemic. And it was something that was really, really out there because everyone in the pandemic needed to have their voice, text, picture, content give them information. There was billions of people at one moment in time communicating across the world through businesses, through Zooms, through video calls, Microsoft Teams, and this particular generative AI was a way to understand and summarize and read text and look at picture content and generate computer codes for updating the automated systems. And this generative AI now is being used to instruct automated systems by voice command. And the problem with this particular generative AI is you can't verify its accuracy. That's the down part about this new type of innovation. It can sometimes give you results that are wrong. For example, New York Times reported that only 70 to 75% of some of the AI that comes from the automated systems are accurate, while 30% is just completely inaccurate. It cannot check itself to see whether or not it's giving you correct information. Only humans can do that. Another code of ethics is integrity starts with you. In my second book, I talk about quantum deciding, and this is the science based decision making method that helps you make decisions about emerging technologies. And what's really important about artificial intelligence is if you see something concerning that's happening with AI, you can report it on anonymous tip lines. So let's look at some examples. The FTC reported that Rite Aid was using it incorrectly. This is according to FTC reports, the Federal Trade Commission. Rite Aid technology was falsely tagging customers, particularly women and people of color, as shoplifters, and Rite Aid stores were banned from using AI for 5 years as a result, according to the FTC report. And they were targeting customers. According to the complaint, Rite Aid contracted with two companies to help create a database of images of individuals that were considered as persons of interest. And these people were identified as attempted to engage in criminal activity, meaning they didn't even do it. And so these people were being profiled incorrectly, and the company collected tens of thousands of images of individuals and even news stories, according to the complaint. And then most recently, an Illinois woman is suing Target. So the Target stores were using biometric data without obtaining written permission or providing shoppers with advance notice that biometric data was being collected according to a court document. And this is according to Supermarket News. And according to the court documents in this news article, they were wrongfully predict theft on its customers. And so a customer that was shopping at Target is suing Target for actively collecting the biometric data of thousands of Illinois residents who have entered the retailer store. Now, Target, of course, it has to go to court. And so these court documents indicated that this was a concern. And so the target stores are outfitted with cameras and advanced surveillance systems that collect, possess, and obtain biometric data without the shopper's knowledge, according to the lawsuit. And the FTC is cracking down on deceptive AI, and it announces a crackdown with companies having to comply with making sure that they're not targeting individuals with how it uses artificial intelligence. Another code for us to be concerned with, or I should say another phone number, is the US Department of Labor has a anonymous tip line for you to contact people. So if you suspect that it's being used in a way that is um, something that's harmful, and this is what we call an occupational safety hazard, the US Department of Labor identifies there's a tip line for you to call in these type of cases. Another code of ethics for us to be concerned about is that AI terms and AI algorithms must be disclosed and translated. All people deserve the right to challenge cases when AI is not operating correctly. So if you witness AI negatively affecting people, my recommendation is that you report it to local news agencies. Let's look at an example of this. Atlanta News First did a news report in AI facial recognition technology causing false arrest on the nation across the nation was a gigantic news report, and it called for AI regulations to grow as Black men across the US were wrongfully being jailed. According to Atlanta News First, calls for AI regulations grow as Black men across the US were wrongfully being jailed. According to the news reports, the biometrics were falsely imprisoning people because the AI misidentified them in their calculations. And according to Futurism News, the self-driving Waymo car was spotted plowing down the wrong side of the street. If you read this article and look at the information that was provided, this particular situation was a Waymo car was trying to avoid two bicyclists on the right side of the road, and it had ineffective decision-making processes, and it chose to drive on the wrong side of the road to prevent hitting the bikers, but it went into head-on traffic. And this is an example of how artificial intelligence can make decisions that are not the safest. And artificial intelligence is no match to the human brain because the human brain is able to understand that driving on the wrong side of the road would be just as dangerous as driving too close to the to the bikers, and so slowing the car down would be the most effective result. Another code of ethics is that the use of quantum AI is as dangerous as nuclear weapons, and unauthorized use of quantum AI can be considered war. The note that I have here is AI is being developed to feed into quantum computers, and AI will be used to access communications from space. Now, if you uh, there's a lot to this in itself. And so what I did is I created not only a chapter in the book to talk about that, I also created what we call the quantum computing video. So quantum computing is a new type of computing that is being generated to access multiple set types of information. It's a new type of computing system that uses a qubit. And so you can unlock infinite amount of information at one moment in time, and this information can decrypt systems. It can bypass security protocols if it's in the wrong hands. And so if you watch the quantum computing video at the link there, I talk about how quantum computing is the next generation of national security and international security. And when it's used effectively, it's really helpful. But if it's used in addition to artificial intelligence in an inauthentic way with quantum AI, it can literally have dangerous impacts for the world. The next code of ethics is that AI can be shut down. The public deserves the right to have AI programs shut down when they propagate false, dangerous, and misleading content. If you have a right to demand AI be shut down when it harms or gives misleading information, and that's my personal note. There is always an on and off switch to AI. Never be fooled. You can always turn AI off, and you can have developers have a way for it to be shut off. And every developer always programs this into a system. There's California laws regarding safe AI usage. In September 29th, 2024, California passed a good 29 different artificial intelligence safety laws. Now, the reason why these laws are so important for us to know is that in many of these cases, if an AI platform or algorithm uses a million or more people from California on their platform, this particular set of laws applies to the people that use that program as well as the company itself that houses a million or more people that from California on that program. So this includes dating sites, this includes um, uh, different social media sites. This includes a lot of technology that's out there. And these safety laws are being deployed not only just in California, but all across the entire world, really, based on the people that use these platforms. If there's a million or more people that use a particular AI platform, that platform has to adhere to California laws in many cases. And so there's a list of these laws that's identified. Also, California is partnering to create AI in understanding nuclear power plant usage. California, according to Reuters, California only nuclear power plant to use AI to help comply with new licensing challenges was an article that identified California as partnering with NVIDIA in the Atomic Canyon, a startup based in San Luis Obispo, California, and the company has signed a deal with Pacific Gas and Electric, PG&E, and the AI software system called Neutron Enterprise at PG&E's Diablo Canyon facility is being deployed. And so this means that it's going to be critical that we understand AI ethics for the safety laws because energy and nuclear energy and the ways we use our our energy and how the energy processes to support AI are going to go hand in hand. So we are going to have to make sure we understand the laws for safe AI use. There's another code of ethics is that you have to create AI ethics guidelines. there has to be an international set of rules to be established to determine AI ethical guidelines. And companies can establish reporting procedures, and this is my own personal note that I write in a book, is that through the standard operating procedures, the companies can establish the reports when AI goes haywire. Let's look at an example. Here's a real life failure. According to CBS News, Cruise had to pay $1.5 million in penalty in connection with a San Francisco pedestrian accident. And according to the CBS News report that's identified here, one of Cruise cars, fully automated cars, struck a pedestrian. Not only did it strike a pedestrian, the car struck the pedestrian and drug her 20 feet at 7 miles an hour with the pedestrian underneath the car. And CBS reports also that the California DMV said that Cruise was not upfront with the California's DMV officials and misrepresented the situation. So the DMV demanded the company to provide additional information and footage about the accident. And the additional footage showed, according to the CBS News report, that the car did not stop. So there's such things as ethical procedures on when you're dealing with artificial intelligence and presenting it in a way where it's factual and truthful. Another code of ethics is that individuals have a right to sue companies. Now, there's national guidelines and international AI policies are being developed for individuals and corporations' right to sue and hold AI companies accountable that purposely misuse data. So my own personal note is that you own your data. It's not the other way around. And let me tell you about the data that you own. There's such things as biometric identifiers. Their heart rate, voice prints, facial recognition. This is your eye color, face, your movements. Your movements are programmed into machines. This is your fingerprint. These are all the things that define you, and you own this. It's not a company. So when you identify that there's biometrics used, then you start to understand the issues. The biometric issues is that artificial intelligence is a growing field for identifying people based on their biometric data. And biometric data consists of a unique signature of mathematical codes associated with a person's voice print, fingerprint, body movements, writing samples, heart rate, breathing patterns, and eye movements. And biometric identification, known as algorithmic error, can occur when a biometric system incorrectly matches a person to a template or fails to detect the perfect match. So that's when people are being jailed incorrectly because the AI is matching them to a template that's not correct. So the heart rate, voice print, and fingerprint are examples of biometric identifiers, and there's key mathematical terminology that goes into this processing of the heart rate, the voice print, and the fingerprint. And these are sensors, and these are signal processings, and they are data acquisitions that are in certain systems that are being fed. So it's really important for us to understand that you're the one that owns this, not the company. So there's laws for AI use. There's an executive order 14110 on safe AI that was created October 30th, 2023. We have no idea what the new administration is going to do, but we're going to go by this executive order for right now. And this is for this 20 this for this December 2024 video that's going into January 2025, excuse me. And then the EU Act with risk classifications that was created in March 2024. According to the Executive Order 14110 on Safe AI, this is the United States executive order from the White House Office of Science and Technology Policy. It was created as an order to ensure America leads within innovation, but then keeps AI safe. And the executive order establishes new standards for AI safety and security and protects Americans' privacy and advances equity and civil rights. And it protects consumers and workers, and it also protects our competition edge. So this executive order has 5 different layers to it, and in these layers, it identifies what your rights are, and you also have a right to have your artificial intelligence turned off and your data read by a human if you want. Now, a classification for AI systems is also given, and it's also called acceptable risk and minimal risk. So acceptable risks are banned, unacceptable risks are banned, and they are prohibited according to the EU AI Act that was created in March 2024. And these are four different classifications of the AI systems. And the minimal risk is something in which you can use on a daily basis. And there's such thing as a banned risk, which is an unacceptable risk. And the unacceptable risk is when something uses manipulative information or subliminal techniques. It exploits vulnerabilities in people. It causes significant harm or uses biometrics to categorize individuals based on their race, political opinions, or trade or sexual orientation. And it uses facial recognition. If it uses facial recognition from the internet or closed circuit television, it is banned. So it's really important for you to know that you have to know these laws because you could travel somewhere and think you're using the AI correctly, and then you can be jailed or fined or not allowed to travel back to your state or country because you've used AI in an incorrect way in a foreign location or a location outside of your state. And it's really important for you to understand this. It's really important for you to understand the California laws too, because if you're using a system that's based in California, let me go back to this. If you use a system that's based in California and it's based on one of these laws, then you are also subject to following this California law. So it's going to be critical that you are certified with how you use artificial intelligence. Now, uh, the next is that there's AI bias removal is required. So those national guidelines are needed to make it illegal for a person to use AI biometrics to discriminate against humans. So biometrics, all it is mathematical codes and representation of who you are. And biometrics can identify your race, age, and gender, and it can be used in malicious ways. It can be used in authentic ways as well as malicious ways. So we're going to take a look. So here's some facts. Facial recognition fails on dark skin tones. And this is according to the Berkeley School of Information. Facial recognition software used on services like biometric security at airports and on phones performs better on lighter skin tones and worse on darker skin tones. And then in job recruiting, study shows that in the past, Amazon, this is an example. The Amazon in the past, it was a recruiting tool that used it was skewed because it was only picking men. And it was skewed because only men had applied for that job previously. So the data was that the AI was only going to pick men for it because there was no women in the data pool when the developer created the AI program to select people for jobs. So all these people are being thrown out of systems because of their name, because they're a woman, and they're not even being picked for jobs in certain um, AI job placement tools. And then prison sentencing. And it's not just Amazon, it's many different job placement tools that are existing out there. And then prison sentencing, it is, uh, according to the Berkeley School of Information, algorithms used in the criminal justice system predict the likelihood of those convicted will commit a future crime, and it's skewed. And it's these risk assessments are unreliable where they are placing people of color in jail for longer when they've done the same crime as someone who is Caucasian. And the risk assessments are giving them sometimes double and three times the amount of time in jail because the risk assessments are incorrect, according to the Berkeley School of Information. So another code of ethics is that you have to prevent robots from going rogue with an override algorithm. And AI is being developed by some countries to create robot armies that can possibly be hacked by foreign adversaries. So it's important for emergency frameworks to be created to include robotics from going rogue. Here's an example. Fox News just had on the TV today that robots are perfecting the aim. An AI-powered robot sinks seemingly impossible basketball hoops, and the basketball playing robot demonstrated skills that leave even the best NBA players in awe. And that was according to Fox News. And so this is just a robot that's playing basketball. Let's take this a step further. How AI will revolutionize warfare. In the Arms Control Association report, it said that AI and other new technologies such as hypersonic missiles could result in blurring the distinction between a conventional and nuclear attack. The report said that the scramble to exploit emerging technologies for military use has ex accelerated at a much faster pace than efforts to assess the dangers they pose and to establish limits on their use. It is essential, then, the report says, to slow the pace of weaponizing these technologies, to carefully weigh the risk in doing so, and to adopt meaningful restraints on their military use. And it is according to the link that's provided there below. And according to the military news, 1/3 of the US military could be robotic by 2029, according to Milley, the 20th chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. He believes that the growing artificial intelligence and unmanned technology could lead to robotic military forces in the future. 10 to 15 years from now, his guess is that third to maybe 25% of the US military will be robotic. And the advancements in technology changes the nature of war and will enable militaries worldwide to make smarter and faster decisions, but it has to be regulated. So the AI code of ethics is that deepfakes are a type of identity theft. And they use deepfakes to mimic someone's identity. And in this case, in this book, I identify that it's a form of identity theft. And in some states, it's a felony and crime. And that's a case here in California. And it all, again, it depends on your state. So my recommendation is if you have a child, you have to limit their exposure to and use to AI. I would recommend until 16 for using it for purposes outside of education so they can be prepared for predators. Now, this is a real life example. This comes from NBC News and ABC News. Uh, there were people that were using X-rated images of students, and 5 California middle school students was reported in the Beverly Hills Unified School District. They were exploited with deepfake AI, and there were sexual images created of them. And one of the mothers said that many girls were being targeted. And what happened is that the group of these predators superimposed the faces of their classmates on AI generated photos and nude bodies. So we have to train children that this type of use of artificial intelligence is not only dangerous, but it's a form of exploitation and identity theft. We have to train our young people to understand this. The people that were affected, according to this news report, were Fairfax High School, Laguna Beach High School in California, and there's schools across the entire United States that are being affected and in foreign places as well. So this is something for us to keep an eye on. And regular people are not only being affected, celebrities and high profile officials are being affected. According to news reports, the Ukrainian president was affected, the Pope, Taylor Swift, Emma Watson, Drake, the Beatles, Scarlett Johansson. They were cloned, or in some cases, sexual information was seen of them. According to Taylor Swift, her information was put on X with 49 million people seeing a fake nude image of her, and it took almost 24 hours for it to take it down, while 49 million people saw a deepfake image that was X-rated. So in the book, I talk about how deepfakes are created by targeted example training sets and combined encoders. And what these individuals do is they find ways to create deepfake videos through GANs. And so I identify in this book how they're created and what we need to do to identify what's fake versus what's real. A code of ethics for us to also know is that we have to ensure accurate medical diagnosis. Using AI to predict illnesses is beneficial only when any AI bias is removed and the AI correctly diagnoses all participants of any nationality, age, or ethnic background. And so my personal note is companies can have oversight groups to ensure people of various backgrounds gain the proper care. Now, according to NPR, on AI in medicine, in the journalistic research news article, AI can detect race. Now, previous research has shown that AI can be trained to detect a person's race from medical images, even though humans experts are looking at these images, and even though the human experts are looking at the images, they aren't able to tell the patient's race just by the images by themselves, but the AI can do that. So the question is, what happens if you train an AI algorithm to look for that? And there can be positive reasons as well as detrimental reasons. So if we look at this information continued, Black patients per NPR News showed in a landmark 2019 study in the Journal of Science found that AI was biased against Black patients. And previous research showed that Black patients are more likely than white patients to have their pain dismissed and untreated. And some AI models were able to correct the issue by assigning a higher pain value to Black patients. So that what was really found is that not all the AI is equal, and there's racial bias that exists in healthcare. Artificial intelligence can fuel the racial bias in healthcare, according to the Journalistic Research News article. And not all AI is equal. Some algorithms promote unequal medical care while the others close the gap. So there's a lack of diversity in the training data. And when the AI is trained by data that lacks diversity, it can create bias in healthcare. So now we're going to take a look at the AI Code of Ethics certification. Now, the AI Code of Ethics certification comes from my book, my new book here, AI Literacy Handbook, and it's based on the information that is read in this book. And I create this certification, and I work with other organizations as well. The certificates were given at UCLA, and this is University of California, Los Angeles, and they were given to the 2024 Recreation Summer Program. And this was from the first UCLA AI Ethics Guidebook for K through 12 students and faculty and UCLA students and international students for the program. It's now been updated for 2025. And it's now, the new book is updated and the certifications, and the California State University Northridge has now incorporated this AI literacy curriculum and training into the School of Social and Behavioral Sciences that's going to be available. And it's also going to be available for schools across the United States. And California schools have now just identified a new California literacy program. And it also is given at private tutoring and college preparatory centers for university entrance. It's given at corporate training programs, and it's also given at trade associations and conferences. And it's available for tech companies who want to generate ethical guidelines. More information on the book can be found on answersunleashed.com, Technology Safety. If you want to find me on websites Olympia LePoint and answersunleashed.com. And you can find me on YouTube under Answers Unleashed. Our business office is located at the number below. For more information, go to answersunleashed.com/technology safety for more information on the AI codes of ethics. I hope you have enjoyed this particular presentation. And again, I am Olympia LePoint, speaking about the 10 AI codes of ethics. And there's more than 10, but this presentation gives you the start.